what are your thoughts on other cryptocurrencies? What are the pros and cons?
Oh man, this is a good one. So it's important to say that we are intentionally just talking about Bitcoin here because there's a lot of things that are really confusing out there, and other cryptocurrencies, whether you call them altcoins or shit coins, like whatever the terminology is, we're really focused on Bitcoin, the OG, the original protocol that has so many unique aspects to it that other coins, frankly, just don't even come close to comparing to. So, my thoughts on other coins is that it's not worth anybody's time really to dive into, and that's coming from a place of experience and kind of getting burned myself, and kind of spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of time, reading a lot of white papers and things that really didn't end up going anywhere. And that's kind of the pattern that we've seen, is that every altcoin is a copy of Bitcoin. So it's important to note that they all came after, years after the original protocol. So if you're just getting it new into the space, what I would recommend is just make sure you understand BTC, Bitcoin, understand the origin story, understand as much as you can about it before spinning your wheels on anything else. What do you think, B?
Totally echo all of that. And so other cryptocurrencies don't make a meaningful improvement on the national currencies that we already have in the world. So national currencies, they're for money in the world, right? There's gold, there's political currencies that are made by governments, and now there's Bitcoin and then cryptocurrencies, right? Like that's kind of the big four buckets, right? And so think about it like that. Gold, we don't go around talking about monetary metals. Like we talk about gold. And so that's kind of the same way it is with Bitcoin. We don't go around talking about cryptocurrencies. We're talking about Bitcoin. And the reason is because the other ones don't really make a meaningful improvement on the other national currencies. And so what's wrong with national currencies? They're centralized. Like their supply is controlled by politicians and by governments, and therefore by people in power that are, and what happens with people in power? Like we go over this a lot on the channel. It's like they have sometimes not the correct incentives to help others and to kind of help society keep moving. And so that's the way that I easily like lay out why I don't spend time working on other altcoins, is because the reason why I like BTC is because it makes a meaningful improvement on, what's already happening. And so pros and cons, I would say, look at how centralized it is, or who controls kind of other currencies that you're looking into, and look at that even on your national currencies. Do that same kind of thought process on anything you're choosing to use as money and choosing to use as an investment.
Yeah, I'll add a couple of quick things too. So Ethereum obviously is one that you're going to hear about a lot, and there's a ton of work and investment going into Ethereum that, again, from my own personal point of view, seems like we're spinning our wheels trying to solve a problem that we don't have yet, when really we should be focusing all that energy on fixing the foundation of the current economic system by just focusing on the original Bitcoin protocol. But there are some things that are like tempting to sort of start paying attention to, because they're a little bit like, they're ideas that are ahead of their time, right? Like it would be like if we were in the internet, the early days of the internet, and someone started working on Uber when AOL was like, people were just starting to figure out what AOL was. It's like, Uber, like that's not, that's still years down the line. So that's kind of how I see it, is like, maybe there's room for further innovation way down the line, but right now we really just kind of need to get everyone in one camp and figure out the baseline monetary policy.
Totally. There's nothing wrong with innovation. Like George and I are not against innovation, and Bitcoiners are not against innovation. We're very, very, very pro innovation. What we're against is money printing. We're against money printing, whether it's crypto money printing or political money printing, any kind of money printing, because it's that kind of, it's that leads to systematic unfairness.
Mhm.
That's the main problem. That's the main problem. And so, whatever else you're interested in, computers or technology or different apps on your phone or whatever, like all that stuff's awesome. Don't look to replace anything else you're interested in. Add Bitcoin to it, and add in your understanding of the downsides of having centralized money printing.
Yep. And then the last thing on this question, I think someone asked a specific question about the forks. So
Yeah.
BCH, BSV, those were what's called forks from the original Bitcoin protocol. So what happened is there was a fundamental disagreement in sort of the Bitcoin community, among miners, among developers and users, node operators, and they forked. They literally split the chain, and BTC went this way, BCH went this way. And I think one thing that's helpful for the journey of understanding Bitcoin is going back and kind of understanding the history and seeing what was at the root of that dispute, and who went this way, who went this way, and why BTC is still the most dominant by a lot. It's hovering over $9,000, where BCH is a couple $100s, and the fundamentals just aren't there. But I think from a history standpoint, and to just kind of understand what's going on, it is good to kind of know the story, if nothing else. But just stick to BTC as what you want to invest in, and where you want to put kind of your hope for undermining the current corruption that we see in our system.
Totally. The questions about forks are good. Like, and because politics is a thing that happens when humans live in community. Like, we're not naive here saying that, oh, Bitcoin is going to solve everything, and the issue of politics and humans living in community are going to be gone, because that's not true. But but if the world ran on a more transparent, a more fair money, politics and people of differing incentives will have a more equal playing field for coming to the market and deciding what they should work on day to day. And so that is exactly what happened with those forks, was that there was a political disagreement, and they chose to go in a different direction, that no longer all the computers that were running Bitcoin software no longer can run that software. They would have to make an upgrade. And so we want development on Bitcoin to be backwards compatible. We don't want to break network effects, because we're trying to change the underlying thing of the entire world. And so when some of these other forks that you will hear about, that's what they did. They fundamentally changed the software against kind of what everyone else had agreed to.